please stay with us now, because, Sam, I'm only finishing with you because we can go to another key state. You will know the importance of Arizona. Now, I remind you just quickly, there are still 5 of the 7 key states, swing states, whatever you want to declare, whatever you want to call them, that have yet to declare, but 2 of them have already gone to Donald Trump. In total, they're worth 93 votes. Let's go to Arizona. Bring into the conversation Dr. Laura Smith. Now, Dr. Smith is presidential historian at the University of Oxford and assistant teaching professor at Arizona State University, and joins us from the state, from Phoenix, on the line now. Dr. Smith, it would seem to be an extraordinary and almost unprecedented return to power for a president, I think only ever achieved before by Grover Cleveland, the 1880s, whenever it was. If it's happened, what would you put it down to? Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, you're absolutely right in terms of the almost unprecedented, and Grover Cleveland doesn't come up in conversation very often. I mean, the only thing in terms of an indicator that we could see this coming was people saying that Donald Trump had higher favorability ratings than he had ever had before, that he was tracking in terms of that high nationwide, and so being able to pull off what a lot of people thought would be the impossible twice. There was always a path for him to do that.
People are saying that, in hindsight, the Democratic Party should have acted earlier. They didn't give Kamala Harris enough time. They should have given her perhaps a year and a half and not 100+ days. Your response to that?
I think there are too many imponderables, to be honest with you. I mean, I hear what you're saying about in terms of Joe Biden's unfavorability rating, the job approval, and the inability of the Democrats to get their message across in terms of focusing maybe too much on democracy at risk rather than their legislative achievements, and trying to maybe explain the economy in a way that would make people actually feel like they didn't have to fear inflation in the way that they do. And of course, let's not disregard hurricane politics into this too. North Carolina, as you were saying, has gone and been called for Trump. And a couple of weeks ago, people thought that was maybe in play, especially with the scandal going on over one of their own Republican candidates.
Lastly, the gender gap that we appear to see in the electorate here, broadly speaking, women perhaps favouring Kamala Harris, men possibly going for Donald Trump. We can see that the other side of the Atlantic. While I wouldn't presume to ask you which way you voted, if it is we have a return of President Trump, how comfortable do you feel as a woman?
Well, you flatter me in the thought that I could vote. I'm British, so I can't vote.
Oh, you can't vote. Okay.
I can't vote. I like you. I look back and analyze and wonder. But
colleagues that you work with who have voted here and who are also women, what's life going to be like for them under President Trump?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. President Trump came to campus a couple of weeks ago. And he couldn't fill the biggest arena, which was the football arena. He was put in the ice hockey arena. But still, I had students message me saying, I don't feel safe on campus today. And there are a lot of people who came out of the woodwork, as it were, who were not usually around in this really progressive county. And is understandable in terms of concerns over safety in that respect. So I think it does cut sometimes beyond gender, but in terms of something that really was going to be analyzed more in days to come is obviously abortion. We've already seen how Florida, they failed to secure greater abortion rights, and now we're going to be looking at other states to see whether those referendums in and of themselves, even if they didn't equate to a Harris vote, did equate to securing more women's rights in terms of health care.
Doctor, thank you for your time this morning. Dr. Laura Smith, you're presidential historian at the University of Oxford and also assistant teaching professor at Arizona State University. You were talking to us from Phoenix, Arizona.